In South Korea, President Bush focuses on military security. A trade fight with Japan just around the corner.
This is NBC Nightly News. Substituting tonight for Garrick Utley is Catherine Currick.
Good evening. A very important week ahead for President Bush, a week that will undoubtedly help shape the way he's perceived by American voters this election year. The U.S. economy is still ailing, and the president hopes Japan can help. When he meets with Japanese leaders on Tuesday, he'll ask for trade concessions. But today, the president was in South Korea, once again playing to America's military strength. NBC's John Cochran is with the president.
Asian allies, like the South Koreans, have long expected cutbacks in American forces in this part of the world. But at every stop in Bush's Pacific tour, in Australia, in Singapore, he has promised that American forces will be strong enough to help defend allies even after cutbacks.
We've had a Pacific presence, and we're going to continue to have a Pacific presence.
But although leaders in the Pacific may smile and say all the right things to Bush, the bedrock feeling over here is that power is shifting from Washington to Tokyo. For now, it is just economic power, but someday Japan could again be both a political and a military power. As a veteran of the Pacific War, George Bush knows the decline of American influence could lead to trouble someday. But Bush also knows that is not what worries American voters today. Voters who are worried about their jobs. This is the strangest foreign trip President Bush has taken. Although he has talked some about foreign policy, his overriding concern in this election year is how the trip is playing, not only in Peoria, but in Peterborough and other towns in New Hampshire, the first primary state. At his last stop in Singapore, Bush dropped a big hint that he will offer voters a goodie, a budget cut that will make possible a tax cut.
Frankly, I'd like to put it into the pockets of the American taxpayer if I possibly could, because I think that's what's needed. And maybe it'd be nice to do certain things that can stimulate our economy, and that could call for alterations in the tax system.
In his State of the Union address later this month, Bush will probably ask Congress to modify the 1990 budget agreement so that both spending and taxes can be cut. Bush leans toward further cuts in military spending.
And if given the changes in the world, there's ways we can save further on defense that has absorbed quite a few cuts, I'd like to be able to recommend that to the American people.
With the collapse of communism in Europe and the easing of tension between North and South Korea, Congress is likely to welcome any defense cuts the president wants. John Cochran, NBC News, with the president in South Korea.
The White House says a major focus for the president will be relations between South Korea and communist North Korea. Suddenly, those relations appear to be improving. The key issue, North Korea's nuclear weapons program. NBC's Arthur Kent is in Seoul.
Export-driven economy, but it has done so in the shadow of war. Civilian drills against air attack by communist North Korea. Soldiers, including 40,000 Americans, ready themselves for battle.